Bold and the beautiful. Hope's using Carter. Huge heartbreak ahead. A dangerous distraction. Hope Logan stood in front of the mirror in her office at Forrester Creations, smoothing down the soft ivory silk of her new hope for the future dress. On the outside, she looked every bit the composed designer and businesswoman the press adored. But inside, she was a mess. Thomas was gone, off in Paris again, refusing to speak to her after the final fallout. Liam had grown distant, distracted, and borderline obsessive about Steffi's life once again. And her mother, Brooke, was too entangled in Ridge's drama to notice Hope was unraveling. So when Carter Walton walked through her door that day, perfectly pressed in a charcoal suit, Hope saw something new. He was kind, steady, safe, exactly what she needed. "Hope," he said with a warm smile, "you called?" She turned and smiled sweetly. "I need help with a few contracts, and maybe a little advice." Carter raised an eyebrow. "Legal advice?" "Personal," she said with a smirk that barely masked her sadness. "Emotional armor." Hope and Carter's friendship had grown quietly, tucked in between staff meetings and charity events. He had always admired her strength, her devotion to her children, and lately her vulnerability. But this was different. Over lunch at Il Giardino, Hope leaned in just a bit closer. She laughed more, touched his arm gently when he said something funny, and Carter, who had spent 2 long nursing wounds from Quinn, Katie, and Paris, felt something he hadn't in a long time. Wanted. But what Carter didn't see was the storm swirling inside Hope. She didn't want him, not really. She just wanted to feel something again. Hope had lost control of her narrative. Her designs were stalling, her relationships were a mess, and everyone expected her to bounce back, smiling and perfect. Carter was the perfect shield, smart, respected, loyal. If she leaned on him, no one would question her choices. If she kissed him, no one would see how shattered she really was. And so, she did. The kiss that changed everything. It happened after hours in the Forrester showroom. Hope had been working late, fiddling with fabric swatches, when Carter stopped by to drop off a signed contract. She was in a simple white slip dress, barefoot and glowing under the soft lighting. "Do you ever stop working?" he teased. "I could ask you the same," she smiled, "but maybe I just needed an excuse to see you." He stepped closer. "You don't need an excuse." The silence hung heavy, and then Hope reached up, brushed a strand of hair from his forehead, and kissed him. It was soft, slow, careful, and Carter kissed her back. In that moment, it wasn't about Liam or Thomas or being used. It was real, but only for one of them. Whispers and warnings. By the next morning, the rumor mill was already spinning. Pam caught a glimpse of Carter and Hope leaving together. Zen noticed Carter's distracted smile. Even Brooke raised an eyebrow when she caught Hope humming in the kitchen. "Is there something you're not telling me?" Brooke asked over coffee. Hope feigned confusion. "About what?" "About Carter," Brooke said. "You know I adore him, but he's been through a lot. Don't play games with that man." Hope's smile faltered for just a second. "I'm not playing anything, Mom. He makes me feel normal again." But Brooke knew her daughter too well. Hope wasn't glowing. She was hiding. And Heartbreak was just around the corner. Carter's confession. 2 weeks passed, and Carter was completely in. He brought Hope coffee every morning, left handwritten notes on her desk, and even started sketching out ideas for a new campaign launch. It was more than infatuation. It was hope. Real hope. The kind he hadn't dared to believe in since Quinn. So one night after dinner, under a blanket of stars on his terrace, Carter finally said it. "I'm falling for you, Hope." She blinked. Her wine glass stilled halfway to her lips. "I mean it," he said gently. "I know you've been through hell, but I see you, and I want to be the man who helps you heal." The words twisted in her chest, because in that moment she realized she didn't love him. She was just surviving him. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "So you feel the same," he said, voice raw. But she couldn't. Not truthfully. And that silence said everything. Thomas returns. Thomas Forrester arrived back in Los Angeles unannounced, storming into Forrester Creations in the middle of a design meeting. His eyes locked on Hope immediately, and then shifted to Carter, standing behind her with his hand resting lightly on her shoulder. "Seriously?" Thomas sneered. "You moved on to Carter?" Hope stood, heart racing. "This isn't your business, Thomas." "It was," he growled, "until you threw it away." Carter stepped in. Back off, man. We're not doing this here. But Thomas couldn't let it go. Hope, you said you weren't ready, that you needed time. And now you're playing house with someone who's already been used and tossed by half this company. Carter's jaw clenched. Watch it. I'm done watching, Thomas said. You want to beat her rebound? Go ahead. Just don't expect her to love you back. Then he turned and left, and Hope's stomach dropped. Because for once, Thomas was right. The breakdown. Hope didn't sleep that night. Carter had been nothing but good to her. Patient, kind, honest. And she used all of it. The next morning, she walked into his loft quietly, heart heavy. I need to talk to you, she said softly. Carter could see it in her eyes. It's over, is it? She nodded. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, he said. Was any of it real? Hope couldn't answer, not honestly. I wanted it to be, she whispered. But I was just lost. Carter turned away. That's what people say when they don't want to take responsibility. She reached out, but he stepped back. I don't hate you, he said, but I won't be your escape hatch. Then he walked out. And for the first time in weeks, Hope let herself cry. Really cry. Picking up the pieces. Over the following days, the office buzzed with whispers. Hope and Carter avoided each other. Thomas kept his distance. Brooke kept trying to play peacemaker. And Liam had no idea what had happened, but he saw the distance in Hope's eyes. And for once, he didn't know if he wanted to fix it or let her go. Hope focused on her work, on her kids, on regaining her identity. But deep down, she knew this was only the beginning of a new, more complicated chapter. She wasn't the heroine anymore. She had become the heartbreaker. Cliffhanger ending. Late one evening, alone in the design office, Hope flipped through old photos on her phone. Her and Carter, her and Thomas, Liam, the kids, everyone she'd loved, everyone she'd let down. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. A no number. She hesitated, then answered. Hope Logan, came a familiar voice. Cold, calculated. You don't know me, but I know everything about you. And if you want your secrets to stay buried, you'll meet me tomorrow, alone. The line went dead. Hope stared at the screen, heart pounding, because she knew the past wasn't done with her yet. The meeting, Hope arrived at the dimly lit parking structure beneath Forrester Creations at exactly 11:45 p.m. The place was silent, the only sound the buzz of distant LA traffic. Her heels echoed eerily as she stepped closer to the shadowed corner where a figure waited. She couldn't see their face, only the red glow of a cigarette. I'm here, she said, voice trembling. The figure stepped forward slowly. He was tall, lean, dressed in black. A ski cap covered most of his features, but his voice was clear. You're Hope Logan, designer, poster child, queen of innocence. You've built an image worth protecting. Who are you? A collector, he said with a smirk. And right now, I've got something valuable, your secrets. He pulled a USB drive from his pocket and held it up. Security footage, Forrester offices. You, Carter, more than once. Oh, and let's not forget the after-hours access you gave him without proper clearance. Hope's blood ran cold. I'll take that, she said, reaching out. He pulled it back. Not so fast. I want something, and you're going to deliver it. Part 11, Carter spirals. Back at his loft, Carter tried to bury himself in paperwork. But nothing could drown out the image of Hope's tearful face, her whispered apology, or the sting of being used again. Paris had stopped by earlier that day, offering her friendship. But Carter could barely look at her. His wounds were too fresh, his pride too bruised. He finally grabbed his phone, scrolled past Hope's contact, and dialed someone else. Quinn. A pause. Then her sultry voice on the other end. Carter, why are you calling me? I needed to hear a familiar voice. Is this about Hope? He hesitated. Yes. Quinn sighed. Then take it from someone who knows. You're not the first man she'll break, and you won't be the last. Carter closed his eyes, guilt bubbling in his throat. What if I wanted to be her last? Part 12. Brooke confronts Hope. The next morning, Brooke stormed into Hope's office, blonde hair flying, eyes blazing. I warned you about Carter, she snapped. Hope barely looked up. Not now, Mom. Yes, now. You used a man who's been through enough, and for what? To get back at Lamb? To fill the Thomas-sized hole in your heart? Hope's jaw clenched. You don't know what I've been dealing with. Then tell me, Brooke cried. Because from where I'm standing, you're spiraling and dragging everyone down with you. Hope stood, slamming her notebook shut. You think I wanted any of this? I didn't ask to fall apart, but I did, and Carter was there. Brooke's eyes softened. So now what? You're being blackmailed, aren't you? Hope froze. Brooke stepped forward. I found a man hanging around the parking structure last week. Took a photo. I didn't tell you because I thought maybe you were seeing someone again. She showed Hope the blurry image, and Hope gasped because she recognized the man.